Very good morning. Warm welcome to IESA webinar series jointly organized by eInfochips and IESA Gujarat chapter. Metaverse that provides the 3D virtual space in correlation with the time. So in today's sessions, we have a discussion based on applications and system components related with the metaverse. We have Dr. Chirag Thakur, professor and head of the department Computer Engineering from LD College of Engineering, Ahmedabad. He has an experience of more than 24 years in the field of teaching and research. He obtains his BE degree from DD Institute of Technology, Nadia in 1997 and ME degree in 2005 in field of computer engineering. Dr. Thakur obtained his PhD from Suresh Gyan Vidya Vihar University, Jaipur in 2013. He is presently an associate dean and mentor for NAC NB accreditations at Gujarat Technological University. He has published more than 50 research papers in the international referred journals and conference proceeding for the area of computer science and engineering. He has guided PG dissertations and doctoral scholars. Dr. Thakur review books in the field of computer science and information technology. On behalf of eInfochips and IESA Gujarat chapter, I welcome you, sir, to deliver the session.
Namaskar. Thank you. Thank you very much, Deepesh sir, for your generous introduction. I hope I am worthy to that. Thank you one and all for joining this advanced technology lecture and symposium series. And the organization behind this successful lecture series is none other than InfoChip and in India Electronics and Semiconductor Association, IESA. So one more time, I extend my gratitude to eInfoChip and IESA to continue with Advanced Technology Lecture and Symposium series. And to all present here, despite of their busy schedule, they are here to witness one of the prominent technology that will unfold to the entire globe in coming years. Friends, if you recall my yesterday's session, we had our own flavor of fundamentals, basics, terminology, and then we started understanding the components and elements. And when I say components or when I say constituents, let me explain here that this constituent or component is basically they are building blocks. So you take any technology, you say take any new development, they are nothing but they are constituents. And these constituents are basically, that's how it's a building block. And I always keep on telling my students, friends also, that metaverse is not a coin which has two sides. It's a cube. And to your surprise, it's a Rubik's cube. So it has got many faces and many internal cubes embedded into the larger set of cube which we call metaverse. So continuing our yesterday's discussion, I'll start my metaverse technology sessions where we will be talking about some of the components that got left out last time. And then we will try to understand how to make the entire system. And this session is specially designed for developers. And that is why we will talk about use cases and applications at a later stage of my presentation. So let us start our journey. This is going to be the flow of my presentation. The first 5 points are the left out points of yesterday's session: digital twin, NFT, that is non-fungible token, spatial or spatial computing, immersive technology, and a couple of slides only on metaverse and education. And then we will enter metaverse and how to create that virtual world, the entire system, the global system, and the structure of that virtual world. What are the components? What are the ingredients of that world if we want to shape that? And then we'll swiftly proceed with industry framework and players, and then technology trends. In later part, I'll talk about the industry initiatives and applications and use cases. So this is again my acknowledgement slide in which I acknowledge that majority of the images are taken from Google, and the universal image URL is www.images.google.com. As an academician, this is an Atlas lecture series, and I here claim, or rather justify, that the images are used purely for an academic purpose. And as a presenter, I don't have any intention of copyright infringement. I generally start my sessions with some of the quotes, and these are few of my favorite ones. Knowledge is having the right answer, but intelligence is asking the right question. And that's where ChatGPT 4 is actually making the entire globe miss their heartbeats, because intelligence is asking the right question. The second is, we do not have a choice on whether we do social media or not. The question is how effectively we do it. This is from Eric Coleman, one of the very prominent researcher in the field of AI in very initial years, primitive years, Alan Turing. And what he said is, what we want is a machine that can learn from experience. And that's what we want to build in today's era. So this is, let us start with digital twin. So in physical and digital aspects, you can see that when I say physical, it's all about create, communicate, and act. And how do we achieve that? Through sensors and actuators. In a very layman's terminology, sensors sense the physical quantity, convert it into digital or electrical entity. But actuators is the complementary to sensors. They take electrical or digital input and convert them into physical output. That's what the common understanding is. But as industry professionals, you might have better definitions to sensors and actuators. But when we talk about digital twin, the idea is to create the digital replica, the digital setup vis-a-vis the actual physical setup. That's digital twin. And that is what our normal understanding is. So when I say the digital counterpart of the physical object, we focus on data and analytics, because that machine, that entity, that setup creates a lot of data. And that along with the data, we have analytics. And that's why the digital counterpart of the physical create, communicate, and act are nothing but aggregate, analyze, and insight. And once you have that insightful thing, so let us try to understand attributes of a digital twin. So what is a digital twin? I said it's a digital counterpart of a physical object. So a digital twin is a virtual representation of a physical asset. So digital twin, when I say attributes, it represents a unique physical asset. It is associated with a single specific instance of a physical asset. It continuously collects data through the sensors which are attached to that device or machine, or which is an integral part of that machine. It continuously collects the data. And when I say continuously disconnected to the physical asset, it updates itself with any change to the asset state and condition or context. This digital twin provides value through visualization, analysis, prediction, and or optimization. So these are the attributes of a digital twin. What are the underlying technologies of digital twin? Augmented, mixed, and virtual reality, cloud computing setup, IoT. And what is the mandate statement for an IoT? Any object or anything which can be connected should be connected. That is the mantra, or that is the mandate statement of an IoT setup. So in this case, high precision sensors enable continuous collections of machine data, state, and condition from the physical asset to its digital twin in real time via wireless networks. Artificial intelligence to leverage historical and real-time data which is paired with machine learning framework to make predictions about the future scenarios or events that may occur or that will occur within the context of that particular asset or an object or a machine. We have now many open standards and APIs which are one of the prominent underlying technology, and it provides the necessary tools to extract, share, and harmonize data from multiple systems, and it contributes to a single digital twin. So once the digital twin underlying technology is clear, this is the evolution of digital twin. 1983 to 2001, AutoCAD became the de facto tool in nearly all engineering and design, because in 97, NASA paired technology on Apollo's 30 mission. 77 flight simulators available, 82 AutoCAD was born, and then 83 to 2001, it is a de facto standard. And that's why the journey continued. In 2002, D-Drill's concept of a digital twin emerges, and it was McLaren F1 digital twin technology for product development and performance prediction. 2011, NASA and United States Air Force papers on digital twins, and 2015, GE digital twin wind farm initiatives got started. 2017, Gartner lists digital twins as a top 10 technology trend. And 2018, these digital twins in product portfolios of all major softwares and industry companies. But entire journey, if you take the sneak peek, you can say here it is majorly 60s till 2015. Computer driven simulations, then simulation applications, then simulation driven system design, and then digital twin. So again, digital twin was not invented or created just like that. There's a very systematic set of evolutionary development from creating the NASA's Apollo 13 mission, pairing that to creating flight simulators and all this. Now, once we understood the digital twins, what actually is inside this? So there are two parts, obviously hardware and software, sensors, actuators. On software side, it is designing, analytics, dashboards, and simulation environments. And through your consoles or through dashboards, basically what you try to control is the entire digital twin setup. And it is the hardware is having the network connections. And that's why middleware has data storage, processing, and data modeling capabilities. Now, let us have the example of a digital twin before we proceed with other examples. So here, the CT scanner is the physical machine. And by collecting that data, we have created the digital twin of the CT scanner. And this digital twin helps us to have better device diagnostic and prognostic, and for design and performance improvement. And this digital twin also helps us to do predictive maintenance and optimized operation of the original device or the physical device. Now, once this very simple basic understanding is done, what we try to create is that it's an oil well in a seabed. And here you can see there are major verticals, or there are major components in which the entire for the entire this oil well exploration, the digital twin is created and comprises of analytical models for structures and hydrodynamics, information models for systems and components, 3D visualization model for components and structures, time domain models of components and systems, sensors and process data from the real asset, software-driven control algorithms, and virtualized communication network. Now, when you put all this together, you actually create the digital twin of the object or the entire setup. So you have to create these models, you have to create this network and sensory part. And once you do that, basically what we try to do is we have the physical object, and here we had created the digital twin of that object. And you can see here there's a machine and then there is the digital twin. And you can use this digital twin for personal training also. And it's a attack response kind of training where red team, blue team can be made, system modeling. So basically what we try to do is we just try to create the cyber range. And in that cyber range, you can see these components. But this picture is you can see that there are many physical uh, components of the same machine line. And what we have created is a digital twin. And I can say here, I should rather say it's an instance of a digital twin. And I don't have to create multiple digital twins. I have to create multiple instances of a digital twin. And once I have this digital twin, I can control the entire operation and yield loss by controlling this digital twin. And it's a virtual object, and this virtual object collects, gathers, analyzes, models all the data that the machine generates over the set of operations. And that's why this is just for your reference, where for the smart meter, a digital twin is created. Likewise, for very heavy duty machine setup in an industrial manufacturing arena, the digital twin is created. Can you think of digital twin of an aeroplane? And this is the perfect example just to make you understand that yes, digital twins are no longer restricted to only shop floors and small machines. The entire digital twin of an aeroplane is created. And for what purpose I have created the digital twin? So here you can see that it's a multi-system, multidisciplinary for navigation. You have to understand the impact of the changes, consistency between various viewpoints. And friends, by doing this, by creating the digital twin of an entire aeroplane, and if you Google, you can easily find out that one single flight, every minute, some, if I'm not wrong, some petabytes of data is generated. And once this digital twin setup is been made, that same sets of petabyte data helps us to control the operations, that is the plane operations, environmental conditions. You can easily put them into models and predict the environmental conditions for better flight control, design and performance. So by creating digital twin, I'm creating an entirely counterpart of the physical asset or device, and I can control all these parameters. And as Archimedes rightly said, he said, if you can measure it, you can control it. It's a very big statement from Archimedes. So here we try to collect data, and by collecting this data, we are simulating the entire operation, the entire existence, the entire journey of a plane. And by doing that, we are in a better position to control our design, performance, operations, and all this. This is another industrial setup in which an executive is controlling the digital twin, and by controlling this, he is actually controlling the original data. But here the motto is not to control the machine operations. The motto is to simulate, and the motto is to get the analytics part of the machine. Because in a larger visionary concept, controlling that analytics part, controlling that the operations through the data analytics can give us far better results than just limiting our digital twin concept to the operation and control part. So once we are done with digital twin, let us try to understand another building block for Metaverse, and this is NFT, non-fungible token. Now, NFT are one of a kind of digital assets that can take the form of GIFs, tweets, and more. They exist on a blockchain currency and give the buyer digital ownership rights. So, what is NFT? Is a cryptographic token that represents something unique and has an individual characteristic that sets it apart. So, let us try to understand NFT non-fungible token, and people who work with Ethereum or people who are very much into blockchain technology, for them, yes, it is always there. There's a difference. While every Bitcoin is identical, non-fungible token or NFTs are unique. So NFTs are like plane tickets. They all look the same, but each one of them have a different seat and destinations. So non-fungible tokens or NFTs are ideal for creating digital versions of collectibles like art and trading cards. Other use cases include digitizing our identities and proving ownership of things like real estate. So that's where you can map this statement can easily make you map the usage of NFT with that of virtual and digital identity of human beings or things in metaverse. NFTs are often based on Ethereum blockchain in the form of ERC-721 tokens, and these tokens can be bought and sold on second-hand marketplaces also. So what is NFT? Again, we just try to understand they are unique cryptographic token that exist on a blockchain and cannot be replicated. They can be used to represent the real world items like artwork and real estate. Tokenizing these real world tangible assets allow them to be bought and sold and traded more efficiently while reducing the probability of fraud. NFTs can also be used to represent people identities, property rights, and more. Non-fungible tokens are an evolution over the relatively simple concept of cryptocurrencies. And their most exciting possibility of NFT lies in the creation of new markets in the form of investment. And there are certain main features of NFTs. We'll quickly go through them. Ownership, transferable, and authentic. So blockchain technology helps to ensure your ownership rights and make digital assets a heck of lot easier to move around. NFTs can be freely traded on special markets, and they also solve an annoying problem on wallet gardens in games. And this term we discussed yesterday. Authentic. The blockchains powering NFTs clamp down on counterfeiting and give buyers confidence that they will get what they are paying for. Now, let us quickly summarize what are the examples of NFT tokens, CryptoKitties, football trading cards, Bensky artwork, Kings of Leon album, basketball trading cards. These are some of the very major uh, developments. So, what is non-fungible tokens? So, what are fungible? Carbon credit is fungible, Bitcoin is fungible, oil reserve, gold reserve, they are fungibles. What are non-fungible? Uh, Mona Lisa or house asset or some kind of card invitation with numbers and all this. They are non-fungible part. So we have got on one side original artwork and non-fungible token. And so collectible exists in 3 dimensions and can be touched. Collectible is composed of unique software code in case of non-fungible. So I can perhaps touch the Mona Lisa painting, though it's forbidden, but it's possible. In this case, it's a unique software code. The financial value of an original is based on demand and supply. For non-fungible token, the financial value is based on supply and demand. Is also on that, how much we provide. Security features include watermarks. Security features include unique encrypted code in case of NFT. An NFT cannot be altered by owner for any reason. In case of original artwork, yes, it can be altered if desired. So I don't want to read the entire part, but dollar, Bitcoin, Ethereum, yes, tangible. CryptoKitties, art, house, property, they are non-fungible tokens. And this is the market share and NFT market values, which you can just see and read that $400 billion, the estimated value of the NFT market by 2025. $1.5 million is the amount paid for a plot of virtual real estate. So these are some of the trades that has already been taken place. And that's why we are discussing metaverse and meta technology here. There are various stages of storage so far as NFTs are concerned: centralized, decentralized, on-chain. These are some of the examples also. But as I said, these are some of the standards, types of Ethereum-based tokens: ERC20, ERC 1400 standard, 721, ERC 1155 standard. ERC20, it's only for fungible tokens. ERC for security tokens. 721 non-fungible token standards, like example is CryptoKitties, where transfer of rights are there. There's transfer of value between users so far as ERC20 standard is concerned. But ERC 1155 standard or 1155 standard is used for both fungible and non-fungible token standards. And in this case, transfer of value or rights is possible. In case of ERC20, it is only transfer of value. ERC20, there is no recovery mechanism. But ERC 1400, there is recovery mechanism. 721, recovery mechanism is there when false address returned to the wallet, and it's a two-step transaction, when it is only two-step transaction. In case of 1155, recovery mechanism is possible. And that's why 1155 supports mining and burning available. In case of 721, no mining, no burning is possible. Now we come to the another building block, spatial or spatial computing. So this is a new term, I know that, but let us discuss them. It's very interesting discussion. Spatial computing encompasses the ideas, solutions, tools, technologies, and systems that transform our lives by creating a new understanding of locations. How we know, how we communicate, how we visualize our relationships to locations, and how we navigate through them. So it has very direct connection with what we have discussed yesterday in metaverse technology. So basically, if you look at the journey of this spatial computing, 3D engines and programs and technologies like AR, VR, XR, and mapping fall under the layer of metaverse. It has next generation user interface that support concurrent. And we already discussed yesterday in the later part of discussion, the user interface versus the human interface. So simultaneous information streams and the analysis of this. It helps, the spatial computing helps in data integration from multiple devices. And it also supports geospatial mapping. And that is the mapping the world, data, traffic, and unifying it with real life or real value applications. And that's why spatial computing has the combinations of data plus logic plus 3D location. In a nutshell, you just try to, by spatial computing, you just try to realize your metaverse identity. You just try to realize your metaverse immersive experience setup. And that's why it uses audio visual technology, 3D user experience, user interface design, and interaction technology. So when I say interaction technology, it is handheld controllers, hand and body tracking, eye tracking, haptics, and voice control. Audiovisual technology realized through VR headsets, AR, MR glasses, and holographic displays, and supported with this. Now, when I put them all together, the use of the 3D space around you as the canvas for a user interface. And that is why it has its own significance in the meta setup. And that's why when I want to create, because I said the setup which you have around you, and when around you, when I say what I mean by any device, And you can see the range of devices that is being supported. Any application, traditional, cloud native, SaaS, any cloud, private cloud, public cloud, supported by edge computing. But when I realize them, I just try to be, when I say any device, when I go for yes, with the support of other devices, the prominent role is played by the glasses and the headgear. When I say any application, now I specifically says that definitely it supports traditional applications, but there are spatial applications, there are cloud native applications. And we take the, when I say any cloud, it has got the role of public cloud, hybrid, edge cloud or edge computing, and telecommunication network in the form of 5G and 6G. There are certain challenges also with spatial computing. What are they? There are hardware limitations. Deploying and managing XR infrastructure. It has got its own set of solution complexity. It's not very easy to go with this type of computing. You need expertise to provide these spatial computing solutions. And there is lack of enough content and integration platforms and standards in this new area of computing. But there are some, we have started this journey, and there are some examples which you can see through these people who are in their office space, their neighborhood space. They have wear the perfect headgears, and what they are visualizing is the actual, and they are looking at the solar efficiency for one particular smart city, and that's how they analyze. So whether it is setting up the smart city or whether looking at the solar efficiency. So for the entire city, if they want to set up uh, the solar plant on every building rooftop setup, perhaps this solar efficiency analysis is very important. And that's what they are looking for. So when I say spatialware versus flatware is all about typing, hypertext, responsive web. Spatialware is gazing, hyperspace instead of hypertext. Responsive XR, 2D interaction versus spatial interaction, and communicating versus shared presence. And these are all, whether it is gazing, whether it is XR, whether it is presence, these are all very much associated with the metaverse implementation. And that's why when I say spatial computing, I said to you, it's not easy to create. It requires a lot of expertise, and it has got its own set of complexity. And that's why the root technology on which it can sit comfortably includes computer vision, artificial intelligence, and extended reality. That is XR. What is AI? Where we think about computers to think and respond. What is computer vision? Computers see, hear, and sense. What is XR? Computers communicate with humans in our natural environment. But to make them realize what are the supporting blocks, because since I started my this session, building blocks I am talking about. So digital twin, big data, cloud computing, and internet technology, Internet of Things. So these are the building blocks, and this building blocks has very close correlation with this fundamental technology setup, AI, computer vision, and XR. And that's where you realize the actual implementation of spatial computing. Friends, I said in previous slide, telecommunication. So here, one important building block is either 5G, that is the minimum requirement, or other technologies better than 5G. And this is how you realize. So this is the example of immersive experience. So when I say immersive experience, this actually slide speaks a lot. Here you can see a person is just standing, and through his headgear, maybe HoloLens or whatever is there, Oculus Rift. He is actually looking at the entire setup and he's having that immersive experience as if he is controlling the entire industrial setup of his job profile. So what makes you to give immersive experience? So it is you clubbed with legacy gateways, augmented reality, and virtual reality. And you enter the metaverse. And in that metaverse, your vertical growth is nothing but immersive experience. So that immersiveness comes to you in the form of the metaverse setup through this technology. That is what this slide actually conveys to you. So for us, let us try to understand what is an immersive experience. So an immersive experience pulls a person into a new or augmented reality and exchanging everyday life with technology. So why immersive learning? Why do we go for that? Number one, visualization, productive engagement. So your engagement is very much productive because it's a full first-hand immersive experience of that particular setup in a virtual way. It creates interest also. And I just give you one example. You are explaining to your engineering students or to your company professionals some product or some machinery, how it works, and you are giving them immersive experience. That immersive experience will definitely lift uh, their interest, whether it is a student or company professional. It improves the quality of learning because to medical student explaining how heart works or how brain works, and they feel as if they are part of that entire setup. They are inside the heart and they are looking at the pumping part and all this. Or and in an industrial setup, they are part of that machine which works and they are just looking at the machine components and their friction and related things. Through immersive learning, you can give them hands-on experience. It's far better than simulated aeroplane training because in this, they are very much part of that entire setup. Because in simulated airplane training, they are an alienated entity or human who are having this uh, setup in their head and they are controlling. In immersive learning, they are very much part of the entire setup. They are within the setup and they are looking at how to fly. It also provides you right to fail safely because in immersive learning, if something goes wrong, it is not the actual, it cannot cause the actual damage. So it is as good as you are very close to the actual experience, but in terms of damage, you are not that much close. These are some of the pictures for immersive public art, and you can see very good pictorial depiction. And these were best of 2020, which I just collected for you to a slide. This is the example in which a person is repairing, and this is boroscope inspection, and he is just reading the task set. He is also listening to the person who is at a distance place, and that person is actually explaining. So one side he is reading, he is listening, and he is also observing. And this is the best. There are least chances of making any mistake because he has all kinds of auditory visual support while having the entire setup repairing task or the monitoring and control task. So nearly 9 in 10 respondents indicated that by year 2025, immersive technologies will be as ubiquitous as mobile devices. And this is a very big statement. And because of this statement, I kept this that there are top 5 industries to which uh, this immersive response is most applicable at this time: gaming, education, healthcare and medical devices, as we have discussed the use cases also, education, manufacturing and automotive, movies and television. And you can see that this pervasiveness of immersive technology is very much prominent in the entire setup. Again, a picture which speaks 1000 words, a complete and the best to show you or showcase you the immersive experience. And this person is not just feeling the equipment, he is not only monitoring and control the operations. Along with that, he has the complete analytics part in the best of the audio video format. And this actually helps him to digest some of the finest implementation of immersive experience. Friends, Spark is India's first virtual space museum. It's already been there, and you can also have the factory tour in webinar auditorium, and this is what you can do. The future of learning is in immersive technology, and as the very profound statement came in the form of that, it's like mobile phone. It would be as so. Why immersive learning is learning by doing? Because how do we remember? Because I'm an academician, when we read, we remember 10%. By hearing, it is 20%. When we see something, it is 30% remembrance. When we see and hear both, it is 50% remembrance. By saying and writing, it is 70%. But when we do something, it is 90%. It is called cone of experience. And this cone of experience was given to the entire learning community by Edgar Dell. And this Mr. Dell says 90% is by doing. And that's why immersive learning is the best learning, because it is learning by doing. So that's why it's the future of learning. Now, when I say this future of learning, you think about all students in their formative standards, in their professional standards or colleges, and all working professionals whom we provide training. So because there are very many professionals from e-infochip and IESA, I can put a very big statement here that maybe 10 years down the line, your interns would be sitting at their own desk and they would be having this immersive experience through which you will provide them the training. And immersive experience trainings is not only for those who work with machines and all, it is for all, even software development, testing, all kinds of ICT, all kinds of ICT professional verticals, you can provide them immersive technology training. So how can we use metaverse in education? A couple of slides. Immersive and engaging learning, collaborative learning, personalized learning, accessible learning, scalable learning, cost effective, and multimodal learning. That's how the entire journey flows. So you can see the arrow, and by looking at the arrow, you can very easily understand the immersive learning journey to multimodal learning. And once you do that, this is what I was talking about. Just imagine this is an industrial setup, and just imagine that you provide them this, and there is a very person, and this person is giving you that training. And this is immersive learning. And this setup would be very much prominent in every company's uh, training department or training section. This is just for the fun. It is nothing but avatar. Avatar got created for the NVIDIA CEO. And this is a very famous picture of avatar. Fortunately or unfortunately, because we want to start the entire setup and applications for metaverse, I don't have other slides on avatars, but you can watch very YouTube videos. Now let us try to understand the components and that their associated meaning to set up the metaverse. So now we are entering a completely new setup. So far we have discussed the building blocks for the metaverse and metaverse technology. Now let us discuss the components and the systems I can create using these components. So real world, the actual world. Virtual mirror, a virtual world simulating reality, and virtual native world, which is nothing but innovate virtual world. And the convergence of this virtual and real world that will surpass the virtual or real world. So basically, if I want to build this, a virtual and real world converged universe, and which we call metaverse. So obviously, the metaverse has real world, but metaverse also has two other components, which is called virtual mirror world and virtual native world. So what is virtual mirror world? It is to simulate the reality. And what is virtual native world? It is just for a new virtual world. So how do we achieve it? So this is how you achieve it. You can start analyzing the entire picture from the bottom part. You can see that there are people, group of people, and they connect. How do they connect? Through their headsets, through their glasses, and various terminals. Now, when they connect, and now you think of them as virtual and identity. Now, once they have this virtual identity, there is virtual space, and they enter this virtual space. And then there are companies and global multimedia protocol group, then authorize and all this. So basically, our focus, so far as this picture is concerned, is nothing but the virtual space. Now let us try to elaborate this. So there are 10 elements in virtual world. If I want to mimic the entire setup for the physical one. So basically what I try to do is I just try to give you 10 elements in virtual world. And let us try to understand them. So what we try to give you here is virtual institutions identifications like government, community. So it's a virtual world and it is mirror of the real world. And this mirror of the real world has 10 elements, as I said. And these 10 elements are nothing but they are social system, virtual environment, civilization system, governance systems in virtual world, production system, economic system, virtual objects and virtual goods, and virtual people in form of avatar and virtual natural people for whom you have to think about identification. So let us take each of the component in virtual world. If I say social system, obviously you have to think about social skills and law. Because basically what you want to create in your meta world or metaverse world is the entire virtual setup. And when you think about the world level, these are because ultimately what we are trying to mimic is we are trying to mimic the human civilization, which has took almost 6,000 years to reach at this stage. And this stage has social setup, financial setup, individuals, their emotions, their education system, their law enforcement agencies, as I said, their social setup, their financial setup, and all this, and the entire governance in the form of districts or states or countries. So social system, when I want to create in virtual world, form one, social skills and law. When I say virtual environment, natural environment, social environment, and commercial environment. When I say civilization system, how do you create civilization? Language, customs, or customary habits of various human races and culture. When I say governance systems in virtual world, I have to think about human, community, society, and the entire world. That's how the hierarchy actually goes. When I say production system, there is enterprise production system and personal production system, and both has production rules. There is economic system where you have got transaction rules and the currency setup. Virtual objects and goods, we have code identifications, and you have got virtual institutions identification where you have government, community, company, and schools. Now, once you understand these 10 elements to realize the virtual world forum one, you have to think about new entities, new regulations, and new wisdom. And new wisdom comes in two forms: human intelligence and artificial intelligence. Human intelligence comes in the form of creativity and innovation, and artificial intelligence. Now, when I say intelligence and when I say wisdom, let me brief you here. There are two terms. One is critical thinking and another one is creative thinking. Now, what is critical thinking? That problem solving approach and other traits which makes us the critical thinkers. And creative thinking, all the creative people, whether it is a storyteller, a novel writer, uh, a musician, an organ player, somebody who writes film scripts, a director, a dancer, all forms of art is part of. So they are called creative people, and that's why we call them creative genius. So creative thinking and critical thinking, these are two human traits which has created the entire human society. So when I say wisdom, AI and human intelligence, and when I say human intelligence, the creative part and the critical thinking part. There are certain new entities. So three new things in the virtual this world: new entities in form of figure, object, and environment. And you just visualize figure, person, object, and the entire setup, which we call environment. And we will be discussing decentralization and user generated content, UGC. So we will definitely have one slide on which we will discuss consensus mechanism. So this is nothing but the convergence of the elements in real world and elements in virtual world, because we already discussed those 10 elements which can make the entire virtual world a virtual reality. So here basically what I try to give you is the mapping, and here the color coding is also there, where difficulty of merging, because how do you merge? I have to make the virtual counterpart of the physical element. I have to make the virtual setup equivalently good, equivalently efficient, equivalently programmable, equivalently workable to their actual or physical or natural setup. So when I say elements in virtual world and elements in real world, I'm just trying to map them. I'm just trying to match them. I'm just trying to create them. So that's why I said that the entire applications, when I say metaverse applications, when I say metaverse use cases, I have kept these slides in the beginning just to make you understand. This is for developers. This is for people who are software architects, people who work in metaverse systems, that you have to take care about unified coding rules and identification system. And these unified coding rules and identification systems is the low level of difficulty of merging. The highest level of difficulty of merging is competition for governance. That is creating virtual governance systems to match or to map the actual governance system in real world. But when I say unified coding rules and identification system, it has got four elements: natural environment, object, institutions, and natural people. And when I want to develop the counterpart, I have to create virtual environment. I have to create virtual institutions. I have to create virtual object. And when I want to create virtual object, I have to take care about code identification. But when I create virtual people, I have to think about identification. So code identification vis-a-vis identification. But when I say social rules, it is difficult, somewhat more difficult. There's people in society, and then I create virtual society, and that's why they use the word social media. Then I've got value exchange, and in value exchange, now why? Because value exchange is uh, the idea. Now, when I want to realize value exchange, on one side in real world I have economic system, and in virtual world I have to build the virtual economy. And when I create this virtual economy, so that my value exchange actually takes place. I have to write transaction rules and currency. I have to take care about this. But when I say virtual support reality, I on one side, actual world side, I have enterprise production system. On the other side, I have virtual enterprise production system. When I say NFT copyright, I have personal production system in real world. I have virtual personal production system is virtual world, and it is for personal creation. When I say civilization rules, I have civilization system, and you take any civilized society. You have got governance system, you have got civilization system, and you have got people society. And that's why people society and civilization system has same level of difficulty. Value exchange, NFT copyright, and unified coding and rules, they have the same difficulty level. So when I say civilization system, I have to build virtual civilization system. And how do I create virtual civilization systems? In that metaverse, I have to create or I have to build languages, I have to build customs and culture. And once I do this, I can create the best of the virtual world, which is very much equivalent to actual world, not only in terms of elements, that is societal elements or financial elements or personal elements or setup elements, also in terms of civilizations and finance. Now, how do I create it? Because I have to start from somewhere. So if I create this world, I want to enter that setup. So there are two occasions to enter the metaverse. One is personal occasion, another one is public occasion. Like through like equipments that has been provided to me by third parties. It's if I want to enter virtual concert or something like, or there are personal reasons like home or private workplace. So how do I enter? So there are two parts. That is BCI, brain computer interface, and digital tools. So when I say brain, see what are our sensory organs? Think about human body. What are our sensory organs? Hearing, seeing capability, touching, smelling, and tasting. And it has through coding, there's a mapping with wireless brain computer interface. And the signal transition has a role to play if I want to enter the metaverse so far as through BCI way is concerned. Another one is the device digital tools. And when I say digital tools, I have to establish the device connection. Now, when I establish the device connections, what we have, I have voice interaction, eye tracking, motion capture, haptic interaction, and so on. And in this case, signal has to play a role because it is signal driven. BCI, the role was, it was coding driven. This is signal driven. Now, when it is signal driven, what are the apparatus? I have VR glasses, VR helmet, VR gloves, and VR armor. And these armor, glove, glasses, and helmet, what they will, what they will do? They will empower my voice interaction, my eye tracking, my motion capture, my haptic interaction, and so on. And here also there is signal transition. So basically there is a virtual world, and these are the occasions through which I will enter the metaverse. So whether it is BCI or whether it is digital tools, this is how I just try to enter the setup. So now we come to that picture which we discussed initially. Metaverse, real world, virtual mirror, and virtual native world. So what is virtual mirror? To simulate reality. And what is virtual native world? A complete virtual world that we have just discussed. So there are 6 characteristics versus internet. So this figure I would like to keep here. You can see on the top right corner, there is a block. And when I started this session, I said it's a Rubik's cube. So entire meta world is a Rubik's cube. It's a cube, has 6 sides, and each of the component again is a cube. So that's how the real world, virtual mirror and virtual native world is created. So when I say 6 characteristics, if I want to realize immersive experience, it is through eye, nose, mouth, tongue, and body. When I say complete world systems, natural and social environment, civilization and government systems, user generated content, and that too decentralized UGC, huge economic value, real estate economics, digital artwork, decentralization, and competition for governance. So now somewhat more uh, this setup in which you can see, because what we discussed in the virtual world, there were 10 elements, and then the difficulty of creating the virtual counterpart of the physical element. But then how to build them, how to create this setup. So there is backend infrastructure. So it's the, I can say, the production metaverse. And this production metaverse gives you this entire. So let us take them component wise and try to discuss. So when I say backend infrastructure, if I want to create the production metaverse, how to produce metaverse? For that, I need backend infrastructure in the form of perception layer, network layer, application layer of IoT. In terms of interactive technologies, hologram, sensing technology, and random interaction. And video game technology in terms of 3D engine, real-time rendering, and space rendering. But what are the underlying structure? So I've got AI, blockchain, and network and computing technology. And that's why I call them building blocks. These are the blocks through which you can create your entire virtual world. So when I say network and computing technology, 5G, 6G standards, cloud computing, edge computing. When I say AI technology, the major AI technology domains that are going to play a very vital role in creating this metaverse production system in the form of underlying structure are computer vision, NLP, that is natural language processing, intelligent voice, and machine learning. And blockchain technology has an equivalent role in the production metaverse in the form of consensus mechanism, because through blockchain technology, I can realize, or I can actually implement distributed storage, distributed ledger, intelligent contract, and consensus mechanism. Now I come to the full life cycle symbiosis of the virtualized nation and reality. So you have got economic system. How do I look at the economic system in metaverse production? I'm inside the enterprise. I am part of enterprise and supplier, enterprise and downstream, and enterprise and collaboration. When I'm inside the enterprise, there is virtual meeting, there is virtual office, and we call virtual identity. But when you are on the consumption end, there is virtual identity, but this virtual identity has employee visit before buying, customer visit before buying, employee maintenance, and product training. But in the R&D stage, when I have got virtual identity, this virtual identity has open office, virtual model, virtual design, and virtual plan. In the manufacturing stage, it is all about monitoring and command. How do I monitor and command? Real factory and virtual factory. And in both the cases, manufacturing, monitoring, and control. So once I can understand this production metaverse, though I agree that we have just tried to understand the flavor of how to build this virtual world, how to produce the metaverse using various technological components. Now it's the complete world structure of the virtual world. And here you can see, friends, that there are elements in virtual world which are completely counterpart of elements in real world. If we have governance system, there is virtual governance system. If we have natural people, there is virtual people identification. If we have people society, there is virtual society. If we have institutions, there are virtual institutions. If we have natural environment, there is virtual environment. And this is where you create the entire metaverse. And when we achieve this, I can say that, and that's why yesterday I told you it is still maturing. Metaverse technology, metaverse as a technology, metaverse uh, as an experience, it is in the development phase. It is still maturing. It is not a full-fledged technology paradigm. But when we achieve this, this is going to be the scenario. So this scenario has certain ingredients. Like when I said decentralized structure, when I said decentralized autonomous organization, that is DAO. When I said DeFi, decentralized finance, so decentralization. So decentralization is centered around consensus mechanism, because as the definition says, nodes are interconnected. Under a consensus mechanism, each node can become a phased center and the platform is maintained by all nodes. The features are strong data privacy is supported, anti-attack, fast response time, open and transparent and traceable. What are the cases? Bitcoin, distributed decentralized finance, DeFi. It is the evolution. This mechanism is an evolution to the centralized structure. Centralized structure is banned traditional internet, social and media platforms, because the center is associated with nodes. Nodes must depend on the center. It's a centralized structure. It has poor data privacy and all this. So when I implement metaverse, actually my journey is from centralized structure to decentralized structure in the form of DAO, DeFi, Bitcoin implementation. What are the user value in metaverse? So you create a second life, new influences and social status you get through virtual community. There is a new setup of trade and it creates new income. And you enter the metaverse with entertainment, like for game or education and shopping. So it's called metaverse experience. Now, when I have this, there are five major metaverse bottlenecks also. One is portability of access to virtual world. At this stage, the main application scenarios of the metaverse are mostly for display. Application entry remains immature and inconvenient. Metaverse rules creation. That is the second bottleneck. Normal operations of the economic and social systems of the metaverse requires a series of rules and institutions to support it. The third one is industrial applications. At present, metaverse is mainly used in entertainment, games and other fields, which lack entry points and a focus of deep integration with production. There has yet to be demonstration and benchmarking applications on the production side. Data security and privacy protection and metaverse energy supply. Because if I need stable operations of the metaverse, it is inseparable for the support of data centers, computing power, network equipments and all this. And that's why a lot of energy supply is required. So basically what I try to give you through this is when we have discussed the bottlenecks, what I try to give you is various roles in the tech category. And there is a technology cluster and metaverse characteristics. So when my metaverse characteristics is immersive experience and high simulation, my tech cluster is going to be the creation and interaction platform embedded with simulation interactive technology. And what is going to be the role path to the metaverse? It's a VR interface. And what is the technology category that is going to help? XR, brain computer interface, hologram technology and sensing technology. When I say real-time operation, multi-dimensional interaction, I'm going to have major help from two tech clusters. One is artificial intelligence, another one is network and computing technology. And what is going to be the role? It is algorithm support in the form of content production. And this is required technologies for metaverse scenarios and characteristics. And so what technology category it is going to help? Machine learning, smart voice, computer vision, natural language processing, and digital twin. Now, when the technology category is, when the role is the most intuitive way to present, that is VR interface. Now, when I want to build the VR interface, or when I have the role of VR interface as a developer, as a system developer, I will think about creation and interaction platform, along with network and computing technology. And this is going to give me efficient content production, which is metaverse characteristics. So if I want to attain efficient content production, the technology category that is going to help me as a developer, as a system creator, is game engine, 3D engine, digital twin, and real-time rendering. But if my role is the core code of the metaverse, which includes identity and authentication mechanisms, in that case, what is going to be the technology cluster? Only one: blockchain technology, including NFTs. And to which metaverse characteristics it satisfies? It satisfies identity and rules. That is the metaverse characteristics. And what is going to be the role? The core code of the metaverse. And what is going to be the technology category I have to address? Distributed storage, distributed ledger, consensus mechanism, timestamp technology, data transmission, and authentication mechanism. If my metaverse characteristics is ensure large scale users stay online, my role is going to be basic support in the form of network environment and data processing. And in that case, network and computing technology is going to help. And that is going to be the core part. So in that case, 5G, 6G technology, edge computing, IoT technology, and cloud computing is going to. So actually we have to discuss the entire figure from bottom to top. Basic support, core code of the metaverse, intuitive way to represent, algorithm support, and path to the metaverse. So we start from 5G, cloud, edge, IoT. We go to distributed ledger and all this, which is blockchain. Then creation and interaction platform where game engine is there, 3D engine is there, and then algorithm like machine learning and all this. So that's how you achieve the metaverse statistics. So these are the required technology for metaverse scenarios. So any company which want to open a division for metaverse development, certain slides, if you say last 10 slides, 3 to 4 slides are very important for them to develop. That's how they will procure human expertise and machines and technology experts to create their metaverse development department. So when I say experience and technology, no immersion, primary immersive experience, partial immersive experience, deep immersion, and full immersion. And what is full immersion? Seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, ideas, and tasting. And that's where BCI comes. When I say deep immersion, only seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, odor digitization. When I say primary immersion, visual, 3D, and hearing. That's what right now we have achieved. Primary and partial, these are two immersive which we are doing. So basically, when I want to realize the metaverse experience and immersive experience, there is basic implementation and initial realization. Initial realization is all about smelling, touching, idea. So smell, can you smell movie? Can you touch the devices? So no immersion is visual, 2D and screen. That's the past. What is the present? Primary immersion and little bit of partial, that is today. And what is going to be tomorrow? So yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Kal, aaj or kal. So what is kal? That is past. No immersion, primary immersion. Partial immersion, primary and partial immersion. That is today. And deep immersion and full immersion. That is tomorrow. So no immersion, partial, primary immersion is that's what we are going through. But there's a long journey from partial to deep and from deep to full immersion. And it is not yet started. And that's why somebody said, I am not ready to believe internet if I cannot download food from internet. Again, this is the journey with respect to the previous slide. Experiment, germination, development, boom, through and high speed development. And high speed development is all about. So this is like journey from like Ivan Sutherland, the father of computer graphics, 1968, Oculus VR, Google Glass, Facebook bought Oculus VR. These are the journey, and we already discussed the entire development. So But when I say immersive experience, there are certain bottlenecks. One is related to content, poor quality, slow content development, low amount of content and less content. Second is terminals, very high price, low device compatibility, short battery life, poor portability, space restrictions, and user physical discomfort is there. So these are two bottlenecks when I say immersive XR, extended reality bottlenecks. When I want to achieve immersive experience, extended reality bottlenecks are in the form of content, also in the form of terminals also. This is the ground reality. That is why I have kept the slides over here. So you've got pre-outbreak, outbreak, and full outbreak. Let us skip the slide. This is the development of mobile communication network, 1979, 1G, 2G, 91, 98, 3G. What we want to highlight is download speed is 10 Gbps, that is 5G. If I want to download 3 movies, 1 second, and then 6G, where download speed would be 100 Gbps. When if I want 1 TB, that is 300 movies if I want to download. That is today's movie quality. Friends, here remember one thing. When we will enter that seats, even your storage requirement would be very high. Your download requirement would be very high, because in that case, all your contemporary movies would be 4K and 8K. So in that case, this 1 TB is there, but it may not give you 300 movies, because this 300 movies may become 30 movies, because it is all those movies of the contemporary movies in that era would be 4K this or 8K. So that is the point. Now, simulation, interactive technology, artificial intelligence, digital twins, create an interactive platform, and then identification and payment. So this is what we are looking at. So let us try to understand. I told you that you want to establish metaverse development department and you focus onto it. So this is nothing but this is metaverse related technology applications. And applications and use cases are the prime this of the entire session. So let me take this. We'll just read very quickly and just try to jump to the application part. So if I want to develop simulation interactive technology, I have three major: game, business, and education. And the fourth one is world culture, forbidden city, AR culture, tourism, and all this. When I say AI and digital twins, manufacturing part and medical. And when I say interactive platform, social, film and television. And when I say identification and payment, can I build smart city and payment through blockchain? So when I say industry framework with applications, technology infrastructure, technical platform, that is going to be the engine, applications and access. You can very easily understand the access part, AR, VR, somatosensory device, brain-computer interface, speech recognition, camera, mobile, PC, consumer scenarios, government scenarios, industry. Technology platform engine includes blockchain, AI, digital twins, game engine, spatial computing, NFT. That all we have discussed. So friends, now from this slide, I can tell you that the entire technology platform, that is the engine part that we have taken, spatial computing, NFT, digital twin. Unfortunately, we couldn't discuss blockchain and AI because it requires a considerable amount of time. These are the participants in the metaverse, internet, software technology vendors, entrepreneurs, hardware technology. These are the American companies, American giants, which are there in the metaverse world through their various platforms, applications, and products. If I say network layer, they have open computing and data center. When I say application layer, they have their devices like Meta has VR, Oculus, Google has speech recognition, Amazon has speech recognition, Transcribe Medical. These are the Chinese counterpart, Chinese major companies which are there in metaverse world. I don't want to read the entire this, but Baidu, Alibaba, Tencent, and ByteDance. Let me mention here, TikTok is a subsidiary company of ByteDance. ByteDance is a parent company. So ByteDance has Pico, Tencent has 10VR, and they have various, some of them also have the platform like Alibaba has NFT platform called Whale Scout. Tencent has game engine Unreal. They have NFT platform called Magic Core. So these are the names. This is going to be the NFT industry chain. You can see the non-fungible token, decentralized finance, exhibition platform, and supporting infrastructure technology layer and all this. I'll just try to skip the NFT part, but when I say representative companies and business introduction, it is NFT ecology, then N-chain, IPFS is a global and peer-to-peer distributed file storage system. Here you can see Decentraland is an Ethereum-based decentralized virtual reality platform. So Decentraland is Ethereum-based decentralized platform. It allows users to create, explore, and trade in virtual world. CryptoPunks, one of the earlier NFTs on Ethereum, it is currently has the most expensive transaction of USD $7.5 million. Magic Core is Tencent NFT trading software. So there are many such examples which we will be discussing in coming slides. I just skip this all to save our time. When I say NFT creation, uh, professional generated content and user generated content. And you can see various cases like global is an Nifty, in China it is Ali Auction, N-chain, Tencent, Magic Core. User generated content is OpenSea, Super Rare, Rarible. What is the model of creation? For PGC, the platform releases NFT with its own artist term and external artist. UGC can create NFT words and upload like currency, support audio, video, pictures, and all this. These are NFC markets globally and in China. The only focus point is global market is on is on public chain. Chinese market focus is on private chain. So type of artwork wealthy, less currency is Ethereum, Rari and other cryptocurrencies. In China, it is legal currencies like RMB, digital RMB and all this. What are the problems with NFT? Lack of liquidity, uncertain storage security, niche application field, and market rules are not perfect. Now, we know what is Metaverse. This is just to give you the examples, the companies, the platforms that are there. Second Life, Fortnite Concerts, Decentraland, Sandbox, Illuvium. This is for Second Life. It's a 3D virtual world developed by Linden Lab, and it provides immersive environment where users are able to create digital characters of their avatars and they can perform. So my question to you is, we are entering the last leg of the presentation where applications and use cases will be discussed. What is the future of the metaverse? Or is metaverse the future itself? Now this is very important for us to address. So how metaverse will transform the every aspect of business? So how you interact with customers, how your work is performed, what products and services you offer, have you make and distribute them, how you run and operate the business. So that now we are entering the business part. So there are 4 technology trends for 2022. WebMe, that is putting the me in metaverse. That is called WebMe. So the internet is being reimagined as metaverse, and Web 3.0 efforts transform the underpinning and operations of the virtual world. Programmable world, that is our planet, and it is personalized. You control, customize, and automate the world. The unreal, making synthetic authentic. Because AI generated data and synthetic content convincingly mimic what is real, and computing the impossible, new machines and new possibilities. So basically what we try to achieve is this: 2022 trends, 21 trends, 2020 trends. Because we are running short of time, we won't be spending much of the time and energy onto it. But you can say that 2021 trends are strategically, mirror world, I technologies, anywhere, everywhere, from me to we. 2022 trends are web me, programmable world, the unreal, and computing the impossible. Let us discuss 21 trends first. So strategically, you are architecting a better future. Mirror world, the power of massive intelligent digital twins. That's where the growing investment in data, AI, and digital technologies are there. I technologies, that is the democratization of technology, natural language processing, low code platforms, robotic process automation is towards democratizing technology. Anywhere, everywhere. Bring your own environment. Like in industry, we have this concept called BYOD, bring your own device. This is bring your own environment. So it's time for enterprise to transform remote work from an accommodation to an advantage. From me to we, a multi-party systems path through chaos. That's how what we learned out of the global disruption of COVID-19. 2020 trends is the I in experience. So you have to redesign AI and me. You have to reimagine the business through human and AI collaboration. The dilemma of smart things. So you have to overcome the beta burden that industry people very well know. Robots in the wild, innovation DNA. So when I say web me, you can see the entire journey till and the future predictions and future observations for year till 2034. So let us try to understand that 1975, what happened. Like 1975, Video Place is released and is considered the first interactive VR experience. 1990, Ultima 6, The False Prophet introduces immersive sim gaming. 1992, the famous snow crash novel came where the word was introduced. 2009, Bitcoin is released, jumping its value from 1 cent to $47,000 in 2021. So from 1 cent to $47,000, the highest. 2014, Facebook buys Oculus for $2 billion. 2014, Gavin Wood, the co-founder of Ethereum, defies Web3. 2017, Microsoft acquires Altaspace VR. 2020, the average American adults increases their time online from 25% to 16 hours a day, which is a very big jump. Travis Scott hosts a concert inside Fortnite, a platform. And how many million fans were there? 27.7 million fans attended the conference of Travis Scott in 2020. 27.7 million fans. Can you imagine any arena or any stadium which can have this many people attending them personally? It's not possible. And I'm not talking about that ye hoga, this will happen. It has already happened 3 years back, 2020. In 2003, Second Life is formed and attracts 1 million active users by 2013 that we already discussed yesterday. 2024, there are plans to announce the first blockchain-based international trade agreement. 2024. 2026, to combat rising cost and increase access, a public university system opens VR campus. So open VR campus 2026, that's what we are observing. A major fashion retailer, NFT products begin to outsell its physical goods in 2028. 2021, NFT by artist Beeple sells for $69.3 million at Christie. $69.3 billion, and a piece is sold at Christie's auction. Very big event. 26, AR VR campus. 28 NFT products for a major fashion brand will outperform or outsell their physical goods. And the journey doesn't stop here. 2029, it is expected that US libraries begin to install public use virtual reality devices. 2030, in China, common items like deeds, driver's license, birth certificates are certified on a blockchain. 2034, the average adult spends equal amount of time in immersive virtual world as the real one. That is something like 12 hours in immersive and 12 hours in real one. 2031, European Commission clarifies new category of workers who spend 100% of time in metaverse workspace. So this is what the future is going to offer you. So now I can say the internet is being reimagined and the enterprise need to be ready for what comes next. And that's why we have to focus on programmable world. Because as developers, we have to think about this. 1982, researchers at CMU connect the very first IoT device. That's a Coca-Cola vending machine, 1982. 2008, Mini produces the first augmented reality advertisement, which appears in 3 German automotive magazines. 2013, MIT researchers develop the first iteration of M-Blots, self-assembling robots. 1982, NASA uses early iteration of digital twins to simulate rescue operations for Apollo 13 mission that we already discussed. 2016, Microsoft releases HoloLens, its augmented reality headset. But the journey doesn't end here. 2019, Snap releases landmarkers, lenses that let users augment famous landmarks. Same year, MIT researchers use CRISPR to create shape-lifting hydrogels. 2021, Habitat for Humanity builds first 3D printed livable home. So 3D printed livable home was developed. Now, what is there for in future? The major supermarket chain launches AR app, allowing customers to overlay products with filters or customize information like allergens, sustainability ratings and all this. 2025, manufacturer announces new automotive assembly line control and reconfigurable through digital twin platform that is expected 2025. 2029, Paris Fashion Week features a color-changing clothing line made from smart materials. 2032, flagship smartphones start shipping with embedded holographic projectors. So with smartphone, you will get holographic projectors. 2037, buildings over 30 stories are required to use programmable steel, which absorbs impact, self-healing, and can be reprogrammed for remodeling. What is the unreal? And the 1997 Deep Blue beats chess grandmaster Jerry Kasparov. We know that. ProPublica uses AI text generation to publish a series of 52,000 stories. Godfellow and others publish the first article on generative adversarial network (GAN), which is a very prominent research area. 2018, a piece of artwork generated by GAN sells for $432,500 at Christie's auction. 2018, Duplex AI Assistant. 2020, Microsoft, BBC, CRC, they make a joint hands and they release Project Origin for certification software. EU drafts regulations like trustworthy AI. 28, Fashion AI Assistant. 26, dedicated AI trigger event. 2030, new regulation for standardized testing requires state questions like GPT-5 and all this. 37 would be major venture capital firm. It will claim this preserve someone's consciousness in AI. Again, computing the impossible. It has the same like 1999, quantum computing company D-Wave was founded. 1qubit in 2012, 2013, HRL Lab releases neuroformic chip. 2020 distributed computing project folding at home breaks exascale threshold. Uh, Israel scientist develops computer using DNA structure. It is capable of 330 trillion operations per second. 2024 UN Environment Program announces research partnerships like quantum capabilities into fight against climate change. 28 zeta scale would be achieved, where supercomputers surpass the processing power of the human brain, that is expected in 2028. 2030, major logistic company will cut its operating cost by 18% by adopting quantum-based route scheduling. 2035, DNA-based data storage becomes industry standard in financial services. So that's future, and that's how Metaverse can play its role in future. Let us have the use cases of Metaverse. So these are the industry verticals where use cases can take place. So Metaverse concept is not old, and because we are running short of time, I'll be very quick. Like you can have Minecraft, World of Warcraft, Fortnite have hundreds of millions of users. That is one use case scenario. You can have AR, VR headsets. You can have blockchain enabled digital currencies and NFTs. And you can, through this, you can achieve monetization. You can also dictate the exchange rules and all this. And there is one RTFKT is a virtual shoe designer and has recently been acquired by Nike. And what they are going to do is RTFKT sneakers would be sold for $10,000 a pair. Some people will earn their livings by providing services like gig workers of the metaverse. So if you are planning a virtual party and want musical entertainment, these gig workers, you can hire a singer or a DJ to perform. It will be virtual concert, and this virtual concert will have, it is more profitable than physical concert. And there was one major concert held in Fortnite. It was seen by 45 million people and earned around gross around $20 million from the sales of merchandise. It's a virtual concert, 45 million people, and grossed $20 million from the sales of merchandise. So as Satya Nadella says, the metaverse is here and is not only transforming how we see the world, but how we participate in it, from the factory floor to the meeting room. So let us get this very peculiar case study, use case. You can read this. Jessica, is it really you? Of course it is me, Jessica said. Who else could it be? I am the girl that you were madly in love with. How is it possible that you even have to ask? Because the person in real world said you died. Jessica said, that doesn't sound right. How can you talk to a dead person? The person said, you can't. Technically, I am not really talking to you. I programmed a bunch of your memories and mannerism into a computer simulation so I could pretend to talk to you because I miss you that much. Oh, you are a ghost. How? It's a magic. So let us understand this conversation. So 8 years prior to this conversation, Jessica, a lady, died due to a rare liver disease, but her fiance Joshua still missed her incredibly. So late one night in 2020, Joshua used Project December, and this Project December was an interface or is an interface enabling users to create bots powered by GPT-3, one of the most advanced AI models to generate human-like text to bring Jessica back to life, in a sense. So by training the AI model with text she had once written and including a short description of the two of them, he created the bot that generated Jessica's text above, word for word. At times it sounded exactly like her, and at for word. At times it sounded exactly like her, and at others it did not. But even then, he could remember her more clearly. Joshua recounted that though far from perfect, the chatbot reminded him of her spirit, and the experience allowed him to grieve in a way he hadn't before. Now, friends, this is one case. But when Joshua posted his experience on social media, people were divided. Many found it creepy and wrong, and certainly not everyone who is grieving will benefit from this sort of interaction. Because, on the contrary, it might prevent someone from healing and moving forward. For Joshua, however, the realness of it was what brought out the memories and unresolved grief, all the while still knowing it wasn't really her. This human to machine conversation was only through text. But imagine what it might have been like if Jessica also had a digital face, a virtual, maybe a virtual identity that moved and spoke just like she might have when alive. Imagine if she were so realistic that you couldn't tell if it was really her on the other side of the screen, or if she had been computer generated. And friends, each one of us has many videos, many pictures, and many multimedia part of our nearer ones and dearer ones. And you can create a digital phrase with the mannerism. So it's the rise of the unreal world. Like Walmart recently partnered with Google Cloud to build out its AI capability. And when they use this Google BigQuery, they have improved data processing time by 23%. This is another use case. It is an ordinary day in 2030. There is a construction foreman. He is operating a road roller at a work site in California. And this is civil engineering use case for Meta world operation. He and his co-worker talk as they direct a construction robot to lay down asphalt on a section of Highway 1. Suddenly, his assistant appears as a hologram on the edge of the site. He waves to him over the confirm to work the summary of the day and to remind the person who is working on that road highway that it is time to meet with the city inspector for another project. He walks over to the construction site's mobile office, puts on his VR headset and finds himself in the lobby of the virtual city planning department. His AI assistant is towards the virtual conference room where his meeting will be held. Upon his entry, the room transforms to look like the inspection site, using a real-time feed from the drone on site. So architectural drawings from the state of California contractor cloud are laid over the living live footage, and the foreman and inspector begin to assess the work. Upon approval by the inspector, he sends his assistant to submit the applications for the next round of construction permits. And then he pops off his headsets and heads back out to the work site where he was working. It's It has already started. A Chinese news agency, Xinhua, has unveiled a virtual newsroom with an AI news anchor who can deliver breaking news to audiences 24 hours a day. This is another application. Amazon has also created smart neighborhoods. There is a resort called Whale Ski Resort in Colorado. They have built a digital twin of its resort, an intelligent virtual world mirroring their physical mountain and all this. So Whale is able to increase the predictability of sky conditions and expect these efforts to eventually, like another example. Let us have the fourth example. In 2021, Gucci created the Gucci Garden experience to sell virtual products and sold a virtual only digital twin of a Gucci purse for a higher price than its real world counterpart. Now this gives us fun, but yes, the digital twin of a Gucci purse is costlier than the real purse. This we already discussed. I'm just repeating it. A Travis Scott Fortnite concert held had 27.7 million unique attendees, far more than the typical concert venue can accommodate. And in the last 12 months, Decentraland, a user-owned Ethereum-based virtual world, saw 21,000 real estate transactions. I repeat, real estate transaction worth $110 million. Uh, Look at Christie's auction house. And during COVID, they had some issues. So Christie used these NFT pieces. In 2021, Christie hosted its first NFT auction, a piece by the artist Bipel titled Every Days, the First 500 Days. And friends, you'll be surprised to know that it got sold at the cost of $69.3 million. So in that auction, they accomplished two first. सबसे पहला first, they sold the most expensive piece of digital art in history because that picture every day is the first 500 days got sold for $69.3 million. And second, and it becomes the first auction house to accept cryptocurrency as payment. So two things, $69.3 million for a digital art, and they accepted the auction money in the form of cryptocurrency as payment. Disney also accepted this premier access fee to stream the movie from their homes, and their DTC direct to consumer division made more money than their actual theater division. This is from Nike. They launched virtual world called Nike Land on Roblox in late. Roblox is a very famous platform in late 2021. So Nike Land has buildings and fields inspired by the company's real world headquarters and arenas where visitors can play games, and a digital showroom where they can outfit their avatars with Nike products. And these Nike Land games are making huge sums of money for them. So how to converge our digital future? So BMW has 31 different factories where they are taking early steps by using NVIDIA's Omniverse platform to build digital twins of their 31 factories. These models use real-time data to recreate a photorealistic 3D environment. It is for living mirror for everything from the machines on the floor to the people populating stations. And this digital twins of 31 different factories is a major breakthrough so far as Metaverse implementation is concerned. BMW demonstrated the promise of what the next generation of the internet may hold. That is a big statement. Other Metaverse use cases, gaming. So gaming industry is there. It has the core value, and you can have XC Infinity currently possesses over 350,000 average active daily users and 3 million monthly users. So gaming is one Metaverse big use case. Travel and tourism. So with the 360-degree virtual tour, you can not only watch the location recorded, but also be present digitally in the desired location with realistic effect. And the example is a very popular instance is Thomas Cook launching the virtual reality holiday. Try before you fly. And in that, you can visit the potential tourist place before actual visit. Education and learning, we already discussed that yes, VR, Metaverse, they can provide high quality knowledge resources. Because when I learn something in physical world, it's more of information. When it is meta world, it's more of knowledge resources. Like Microsoft HoloLens, through which you can learn various live sessions. Remote working, whether it is Nike, Intel, YouTube, McDonald's, they all like Gravity, Sketch, and Upland. So there are very many use cases where VR training can be given in remote working. Real estate. So yes, this is one in which the world is moving, and you can really make a virtual tour in Metaverse. It can be adapted to the client scale, taste and design. Real estate sector is also looking forward to invest in Metaverse app development specifically designed for the realtors' need and requirements. Healthcare. There are very many applications like 3D clinics, uh, virtual surgery, doctors at some another place doing the surgery. So new metaverse applications are also healthifying the audience through digital workouts, exercises, uh, digital twin technology, uh, patients, digital representations can be created. You can see the picture also where the person has no actual physical arm, but he's given the feel that he is full fledged digital person. Banking and finance, blockchain, NFT, cryptocurrencies, very big open market use case is there. You can make transactions. You can think about metaverse future from this money. There are several large banks across the world. They have identified this. JP Morgan became the first Wall Street bank to open a virtual launch in Decentraland, which is a 3D virtual world browser-based metaverse platform. South Korea's biggest financial institution, KB Kremlin Bank, is said to be developing the KB Metaverse VR branch testbed. Retail brokerage giant Fidelity Investment launched Fidelity Stack in Decentraland to attract young investors, and Fidelity Metaverse ETF for investors to invest in businesses in the metaverse. HSBC announced its foray to the metaverse with partnership with the Sandbox to create innovative brand experience for new and existing customers. Social media and entertainment. We already seen people making money, start a concert and all this. So with this, I come to an end. And here I would like to close the session from a quote from somebody who is very prominent, who was very prominent. See, you can quote him, disagree with him, glorify or vilify him. About the one thing you can't do is ignore him because he changed things. He pushed the human race forward. And while some may see him as the crazy one, we see genius in him. Thank you very much. I know last 20-25 minutes I was quite fast in finishing all the presentations or slides, but thank you for your patience and I open the platform for question answer session. Thank you. Uh, 2D interaction in terms of metaverse. Yes, you are referring to the slide where I said pre-era, kal, aaj or kal. That is past, present, and full immersive. So when I say 2D interaction where you had almost zero immersive experience, where you only had that HoloLens and you were just having the reality, virtual reality. So virtual reality is uh, like the pre-stage of 2D interaction, I can say. But when I say virtual experience, it is 3D interaction. Immersive learning followed by any education institute in India. Sir, I don't have any idea where immersive learning is followed in terms of implementation. There are very many institutes which are teaching virtual reality and extended reality as a subject to their master degree program. But actually putting immersive experience as part of this training in an institute, I do not know any institute. Can you help understand virtual factory manufacturing? Yes, definitely. So it is mapping with the actual factory. So in actual factory, what we do is we produce items, we produce goods. So when I produce virtual goods, it is virtual factory. But when I produce virtual goods, my virtual goods should be comparable. Like I am producing a football in virtual factory. So I have to gather data to create the football, various shapes and size of the football, the standard size, various colors. And maybe if it is Nike factory, the Nike symbol. So if I want to use that Nike symbol in my virtual football manufacturing, I need to have the NFT rights, non-fungible token rights, to create that virtual good. I think with this, I have answered all questions. Thank you. I know this has been not that much interesting because it had a lot of text related slides, but I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you again to the entire organization community for giving me this opportunity. We will be meeting in future also with different topics and different subjects. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you, sir, for giving the insight of metaverse systems components fundamentals in both part 1 and part 2. Also, sir, that impressive learning, that is a very good example for educational institutes. Sir, also given the highlight of how human is conversion into the machine convergence, human to machine convergence. So both part 1 and part 2 are very interesting as a learning point of view, as a starting point of view for metaverse. Thank you, sir, from the IAC Gujarat chapter and e-info chips for the IAC webinar series. Thank you, sir.